talk about this weekend and Wasps. You're coming into it on the back of two successive wins, two very good wins. You're starting to see the real Chiefs again now, aren't you?
I'd like to think so. What we've got to do now is not draw breath. I mean, I say this a lot. You know, the hardest thing in sport is to have an amount of success and then not just take your foot off the pedal. You know, we've kind of got ourselves back on track after a couple of losses, but that's all we are. We're back on track. You know, going to Wasps isn't easy. We haven't had the greatest success record there in recent seasons, albeit we have taken a couple of change-up teams there recently. So, you know, they'll be keen to progress this season as well. They look in pretty good form, watching them play. We're kind of in okay form based on these last couple of weeks, but we certainly still got a lot of hard work to do if we want to go there and get a result.
You said you were never going to panic after those first 2 weeks, but certainly having that core of what I call senior international boys back has made a real difference.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see the impact of guys like, you know, Dave Ewers and Sam Simmons, Sam Skinner, Johnny Hill, Stuart Hogg. You know, Jack Noel will be fit again this week. You know, you can't deny that those guys are going to have an impact in your team, and they certainly have, not just in how they've played, but how they've talked and how they've managed themselves around the place. That said, I thought, you know, Will Whitty was one of our most improved players over the course of the 4 weeks from where he was at start and where he played. That's the kind of thing we need to see as well. Josh also for Scott, it looks like he's coming to it all the time, which is fantastic. You've seen the younger guys like Jack Innard doing well. Richard Capstick looks like he's absolutely thriving on a lot of game time. You know, there's a lot of real positives out there as well. Tom Hendrickson's getting a good run in the team. You know, there's some real positives outside of the international group as well, and those are the ones we've got to really drive, because they're ultimately the ones that will knock us on to the biggest level when everyone's available. We
saw last weekend as well. It was a sketchy first quarter, but once you got into your stride, you sort of showed real Chiefs quality.
Yeah, well, the first quarter it was a funny one. I was okay with it. I know we hadn't scored, but we were playing with a lot of pace and intensity, and we were making our mistakes with pace and with intensity, and that's what was always going to challenge Worcester later in the game, and that's what we saw. You know, I don't worry when we're not scoring points. I worry about how we're playing. You know, if you're scoring 7 points without making the opposition work, it doesn't do you a lot. You know, most teams are capable of scoring a lot of points. I mean, you've seen that in recent weeks. You know, Harlequins were 21-0 down and then score a load of unanswered points. It isn't actually the scoreboard that hurts the opposition in the early part of the game. It's how hard you're working and how hard you're making them work. I thought we did that exceptionally well against Worcester, and then, you know, once the dam broke, we were able to capitalise on it.